Hey guys, this is David Wynn with the Mortgage Edge podcast brought to you by Click and Close Mortgage. Today I have a very special guest from West Texas, Lubbock, Andy Gerron. Andy, welcome to the show. How you doing, brother?
Good. Hey, thank you for having me today on a Friday, especially on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, we're shooting this show on February 14th, Valentine's Day on a Friday. Thank you for being on because I know you have a lot of plans today for those special people in your lives. Let's talk about that. Who are those special people in your life?
Well, I've been married for almost 27 years to Crystal, and so I already got her flowers and all the goodies. And then I have three, I'd say grown because the youngest one is 16. His name is Nathan. And then Natalie is my daughter. She is the mother to our twin grandsons. And so they are 20 months old. And then my oldest is a realtor as well. He's 25, and he's been married to Kaylee for a couple of years, and they have blessed us with an almost 9-month-old granddaughter. And so I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
Well, you are blessed because you're the youngest looking grandfather I've ever seen.
I get that. I get carded for buying milk at the store, so I get that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, congratulations on a beautiful family. But let's talk about you, man. You, Mr. Key Man, in real estate in West Texas. So talk about that. How long have you been a realtor?
Okay, I've been a realtor for 20 years. I'm with Exit Realty, and I was with another company for the first couple of years, but I've been with Exit for over 15 years now. And I like to describe it as a family disguised as a real estate company. And it's a close core, not just here, but internationally as well. But I sell everything from lots to homes to duplexes to commercial. I've sold apartment building before, and all the way from pretty far west of here, all the way down to Dallas. I sold a 1-bedroom condo not far from where the Cowboys disappoint us every year. But and then all the way up towards Amarillo, then down towards the Seminole, Andrews, Midland area. But I focus mainly here in West Texas, and I really love what I do. And I don't want to keep using the word blessed, but I feel that I'm blessed because my oldest son is a realtor, and so we get to work on things together. And that really focuses on the family aspect. So that's what I've been doing the last 20 years, just helping raise a family and really just see my business grow and explode.
So are you and your son a team, or?
We're not. I do have him as my assistant. He'll go and do pictures. He'll let people in. Like I have a guy that's needing to get into a house to replace a faucet here in just a little bit. So my son's going out there. And I want to start teaming up with him and doing some co-listing. He does a lot of the rental as well, so that's what he focuses on, that, and he does residential. And but no, it's really cool. You don't get to do a lot of things. You don't see a lot of industries where you can have a father-son or mother-daughter or whatnot, how you can work together. So this is really cool.
I agree. That's my dream. I have 2 sons, is for them to join the mortgage business with me one day, and we all work together.
That's fantastic. And my broker is they're a father-son, and so that's what's really cool. I've known them for a long time, but it's really cool that the McGuires get to work together, and so we just get to see that father-son dynamic, and it's cool just to be a part of that. So yes. So
let's talk about how you fell into real estate 20 years ago. So you went to Abilene Christian. You came out of school, and did you just start real estate immediately, or talk to us about your journey to get into real estate?
Okay, I'm from Southern California, but I escaped there, and I went to Abilene Christian University, and I was working towards my master's in Southern Intellectual History, which sounds boring, but it's actually kind of cool. And I was working retail, and I always thought I would like to get into real estate. This is going to sound funny, or into drugs, meaning a pharmaceutical rep. And I had just one day I had a gentleman come in, and I asked him, he was reading the paper, and I asked him if his team won, because I'll talk to anybody. And he said, I wish I had the sports page, and I went and got it for him. And he told me that he was the owner of one of our, actually I guess you'd say competitors. I see us all here as basically a fraternity because we need to sell each other's listings. And he told me what I needed to do and to get into real estate. And this is when you could take the 6 classes in 8 days and pass. And so I did that. And before I went to this other company, I went to the one I signed up with because the father's son went to church with them. And it's cool. You can say you're hired on the spot, but that's kind of how it works in real estate. And they started Exit Realty over here, and I joined about a year and a half after they started it. And really, that's what it is. What I like about real estate, because if not, I was going to do something in the teaching field with history. There's only so much you can do with a history degree. What I like is I really like people. I'm the highest I that you'll meet on the DISC profile. And the fact that I get to go around and I get to talk to people, I tell people the only part I don't like is closing day, because after showing houses and hanging out with you for the last 30 to 45 days, kind of goes to an end, but I do a lot afterward. That's where I tell them the journey really begins. I do a lot of pop-bys. I'm big with the Buffini coaching, and so I do a lot of calls, notes, and pop-bys. I get to do reverse pop-bys with the pie party, and in November, there's something I have planned this next month for a waffle day that has to do with waffle fries, because I am Mr. Chick-fil-A. I have almost 300,000 points. I just don't cash those in. And so that's really how I got started in it. I love looking at houses, but I really love just helping a couple, somebody single, somebody upsize, downsize, get into a house, because that's where they're going to teach their kids how to bake cookies. That's where they're going to comfort their munchkin when they come home from a bad date. That's where they're going to come back home after graduating. It's that sense of security. And I'm just, again, using that word blessed to be a part of their journey. And what I like, again, is I keep up with so many afterward. And it's just really cool to see how their lives have transformed over the years and how their kids have gone. I mean, I'm now on a 3rd generation on one family that I sold, the grandma, the parents, and now the son. And I've sold some of the kids that I've coached in soccer. I've sold them homes. And so it's just cool to, again, it's that family atmosphere. It's really cool just to be able to be a continual part of their life.
You know what's cool about that? So there's a saying that once you get, no one purposely gets into real estate, but once you get into real estate, it's in your blood, and you never leave. Like you don't, in a lot of businesses, you retire. I don't know any realtors or mortgage people that retire. It's just
Right.
you end up doing a little bit less in your older years. But I'll give you a perfect example. I have a realtor. She's 85 years old in Georgia. She can't drive anymore, but so she makes her husband drive. She's on her 4th or 5th generation of people helping. And it's not even about the money now. She doesn't even collect 3%. She just does it because she feels these people, has been in her life for generations, and it's just she can't stop, and she loves it that much. So I think that's
amazing.
that's the blessing we have, is people don't understand how much love we have for helping families. I think that's why you get into real estate.
Right. And we don't have a time limit. I mean, sometimes you're showing houses 9, 10. I once went over to a hotel where these people, they were staying because they were in town to get a contract signed, and they just could not figure out how to do the DocuSign, the dot loop. And so I just met them over at their hotel. It was like 11:30, midnight, something like that. And so that's what's cool. And it's cool. A lot of people say, oh, you set your own hours. Yes, but sometimes, you'll step away. I try not to step away from family activities, though. And
Right.
I have buyers and sellers that they recognize that. So,
Well, that's great. Well, that's what's great about real estate. I tell people all the time, people think that we make a lot of money and we have, and we're drinking pina coladas by the pool and having what people don't understand is this is a 24-hour, 7 days a week job.
Right.
My phone never stops ringing, and I have to pick it up at certain times. But then again, I have the luxury if I want to take a day off or 3 hours off or 4 hours off, whenever I do that. I just, make up for it afterwards.
Right. And I've never missed a birthday. I've never missed anything like that. Soccer games, which it's hard to miss because we homeschooled our kids. and my wife runs the homeschool soccer league, and I coach. And so I've coached the high schoolers for many years. And so I can't miss a soccer game because of that. But yeah, I mean, it's a lo- it's a lot of work, but it's so rewarding. But it is not a get rich quick. It is by far no means. I mean, in sales, you'll see a big gap, and you'll see people who come in, they think that they can make money and just show the fluffy houses, and then after it closes, do their hands on their hips, the duck lips, and say, "Look at me, I sold a house." You won't see me on Facebook with the duck lips doing that. But I mean, it puts in a lot of time, effort, but it's so rewarding, and so it's so rewarding. And I've been through so many different cycles, through the housing bubble crisis, in the 2005, 6, 7, 8, all the way to with the pandemic. I've seen it go up, down, 3% interest rates. And so you just adjust. And that's the thing, you adjust. And so, in fact, we're on our 5th different MLS system right now that we just started this month. And we've gone through a bunch, but you just keep going. And I believe in the school of hard knocks. You kind of learn it as you go, and it just makes it makes it where you accidentally learn more instead of sitting in a training and you're out there like, oh, now I just figured this out. What did I just do? And so that's that's just basically how I learn. But no, I do. When you were saying it's in your blood, it's really cool because not only do you get to work with other realtors, but then I get to meet you, work with different lenders, work with different title companies. I had, sounds funny when I say years ago, but when I turned 40, there was a title company that they all showed up for my 40th. My wife and daughter went all out, and I had this really cool place, and it was cool that a title company would show up for my birthday. That just shows that you've done a lot of good things right. And so, but just working with different banks and handyman, and I do bank-owned homes as well. And I had one guy who reached out to me and said, I used to be an asset manager, and I know that you like to get things done quickly, that you're very effective. I'm giving you my person's information so that you can start listing this bank's properties as well. And it's crazy because I may list 8 to 10 a year, and right now I'm working on, I think it's 26 all at once. And
just for the bank? So normally you do.
Yeah, but this is just bank, just on the bank owned ones. And I do your traditional ones also, but it's pretty insane right now. And it's not that we have that kind of a market. It's just there's those limitations before with the pandemic. You couldn't do this or that. These are starting to come around, but once it's just a big package, and so that's why it's an abnormal amount. But I mean, I love, because it could be challenging, but I love a good challenge. But I love working with first-time home buyers, just seeing that the joy that they have getting the keys for the first time, and then those that are moving here from out of town, out of state, because they want to move closer to kids and grandkids. And I can relate to the wanting to be close to the grandkids. I'm blessed to have all 3 live really close. So, but yes. So I do a little bit of everything. So when you say it's in your blood, it's true. It is in your blood.
Do you specialize in any particular part of real estate, or you do it all?
I do it all. I do it all. I do a lot of broker price opinions also through commercial land and things like that. But I do it all. I mean, the one I do the most is going to be the single family, but I do multifamily, I do apartments, I do land. One of the first deals I ever did was 3 single wides on 1.3 acres. That's hard to close. Single wides are hard to close, but when you have 3 on one lot, we went under contract in one day and it took 3 months to close.
Yeah, because there's no comps for three things on one area. So
Right.
The banks are like, we don't have any comps for this.
Mm-hmm. So we had to do it where it was 1 in the land and use the other 2 as kind of like more of a personal property. And since those were rented out, that helped with figuring out a value. But yeah, it was a mini trainer.
Yeah, I hear you. So let's talk about the Lubbock landscape or the market.
Okay.
So how healthy is it? Talk to us about that.
It's okay. So we are, I mean, very fortunate out here. We never see the high ups and downs that you'll see in the Miami, the Phoenix, the LA market. And we're just growing. We are growing. We 250 to 300,000 out here. We have Texas Tech, Lubbock Christian University. We have Wayland Baptist. Wayland Baptist, their headquarters are about 45 miles north of us, but we have one of their campuses. And then South Plains, which is about 30 miles west of here. It's a 2-year college. It's one of the top in the nation, but we have campus here. So we have really good schools. We have, it's our medical that brings people here. We have 2 really good medical facilities, and just keeps growing, having little branches. And also we have, I'm trying to think of what else we have. Ag. It's a very healthy place to live. I saw somewhere, and it was on a podcast, that this is one of the best places for buyers, just because if you look at a rebound market, it seems like Lubbock, everything that it has, close to everything. We don't really have traffic out here. Again, growing up in Southern California and experiencing traffic on the 5 and the 405 freeway. But it's the big thing about Lubbock, it's people. It just safe here. I mean, you're going to find crime anywhere, but you feel that if you needed a ride home from the airport, like anybody would just take you. And that's the thing. And it's a really good place to raise a family. We've done that. You're 4.5 hours or so from Dallas and In-N-Out Burger. Got to throw that out there. You're hour and 45 minutes to Amarillo. You're just about 4 or 5 hours to Ruidoso, which is a nice mountain community in New Mexico. A lot of people will have Airbnbs out there. They'll rent out. But I mean, a couple hours from the Midland, Odessa area. So you go, anywhere from 2 to 5 hours in any direction, and you're going to be at another big place or even a bigger place like the Dallas. Just Oklahoma's not that far away from here. I like to go to Oklahoma City, which is a lot of fun. Colorado, like 8 or 9 hours, I think. We'll be out there in June. My dad lives out there. But it's the people is what really makes up Lubbock. And it just seems that we have a high retention rate. Those that come here for nursing, medical, for a lot of vet, we have a good vet school, they stay. We have very good affordable housing. We really specialize in the 200,000 to 300,000, and you can get a lot for that. And so that's the thing. The people and the affordability keeps people in Lubbock.
Yeah, the affordability is a huge thing. When you say 200 or 300 in Dallas, your average home is 400 to 500. So you're talking about $100,000 to $200,000 price point difference with
Right.
quality of life and everything else. So let's talk about you. I know, but our audience don't know. You don't. It's just you. Whenever they call Andy, they get you.
That is correct. Yes.
You really, you do it all, right?
Yeah, I don't have like a transaction coordinator. I don't have a lot of, you deal with me. I'm the one that puts the files together. I'm the one that takes things to the title company. I try to go to all my closings. I work with a lot of investors, and they just look at me and they say, we've done this before. We know what we're doing. But I still like to go to closing, and I usually don't bring a gift. I know a lot of people do gifts at closing, but it's because I do a continuous. I do a quarterly pop-by. I write anniversary cards. Like I said, my biggest thing that I do a reverse pop-by, meaning they come to me, is my pie party. I do that every year on the Monday of the week of Thanksgiving, and it's for several hours, and it's a come and go, and you get to take a pie. And I know ahead of time what pie you had ordered. I don't bake. I don't bake the pies, but I get them from our local store. And it's really cool just to see their excitement. $6 to $10 pie, it's not a big deal. It's not that. It's the fact that they get invited and they love that. And so I try to do a lot of community events and just a lot of giving back to our community, because it has given me and my family a lot. But yeah, so going back to your question, it is me. So when you call, they say the buck stops with me. It does. So I mess up. If something goes wrong, I know who to blame, and that's me. Because it's not, oh, let me check with my buyer's rep, my seller's rep, my transaction coordinator. But again, I'm starting to train my son to do a little bit more that kind of activities. And then with my CRM, I'm actually going to see if my daughter-in-law, Kaylee, has very good handwriting. She's very together with that. So I'm going to uh, kind of hire her on a part-time basis to get my CRM, my just really strengthened and tightened and together.
That's awesome. So that past client database, how big is your list now?
It's several hundred that my coach said, okay, if on some of these people, if you haven't talked to them in a while and they've moved out, they're not your best friend. That goes back to me being a high I. I think everybody's my best friend. And so, but it's pretty lengthy. And so, yes.
Yeah, yeah. So we have we're coached also, and I believe in the power of coaching. But we touch base with our past client database 4 times a year. I don't do it. I have a staff that does it, but still, it's just it's like us touching base with them. So
Well, and you need to be coached. I will argue till I'm blue in the face that Kobe Bryant was the greatest basketball player of all time, but he had a coach. He was far superior than his coach, but he still had a coach. And I have a life coach. I have 2 mastermind groups that I meet with, and then I also have my coach. And then we need to get a little more fluid on this, but with my daughter, we have a Bible study group together, the 2 of us. I guess the 4 because she includes the twins, but that we do together. But I think that who you surround yourself with, and the fact that if you know that you need guidance and assistance in always looking to be better, then you're going in the right direction. Like I write affirmations every day, then I have to take a picture and send it in. And I'm close to 2,600 days in a row I've done that. And that's just because I'm in competition with myself to break my record, but also because I believe in written goals and affirmations, in reading. Last year, I read 133 books. I love to read, and I didn't in high school and college, but I love the Og Mandino books, the Start With Why, the Dave Ramsey books, Think and Grow Rich, Richest Man in Babylon, Acres of Diamond. So As a Man Thinketh, those are the kind of books that I read. I'll read some fiction, but that's so minimal on what I read. But
do you actually read or listen? So I've done the same thing. I'll read. I read like I'm on like 120 for the year, and I actually read like the first 30, and then now I do audiobooks.
I did 12 audiobooks last year because my wife got me a subscription for 1 a month, so that's why the 12. But it's better when I read it, and also because I go to the gym a couple times a week with my son, and I walk on the treadmill and read, and I've been doing that for years, so you get used to it. I'm doing that because people go, do you trip? I'm like, no, you're used to it. So I get a good amount of reading that way. But I don't know, again, being that high I, my mind will wander. So if I'm listening, I'll think, oh, what else can I do? So I try to, because you can't multitask. And I have to tell myself that. I'm the last person that will believe that. And I know you cannot multitask. You can go from task to task, but you can't multitask. And so I will not listen. That's the problem. My mind wanders. So if I'm reading it, I'll absorb it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Andy, we could sit here and talk to you all day about real estate and what you're doing. We're definitely going to have to bring you back to see how your 2025 went.
Yes,
before I let you go, is there anything we should have talked about that we didn't talk about today?
No, I mean, anytime somebody wants to know about my family, that's the most important thing to me. And what's cool is my whole family lives here. And so we see my son and daughter-in-law and their munchkin, my daughter and her munchkins. And a lot of the times we're together eating. And we go out occasionally together. When we go out, I mean, it's a huge table because there's a lot of us. But that's what brings joy to my heart is to be able to do what I do, to provide for my family, to see my family. And real estate's really important to me, but it's family. If you have family, you're more than halfway there in anything. And so they've had my back when I've struggled in real estate, or if I was feeling down or whatnot. I know I can always go home, and that's where my family is.
That's awesome. That's why you're so great at real estate.
I appreciate that.
I think
Thank
you
you.
treat your clients like family. So,
Yes, sir.
well, if the people in Lubbock want to find you, and I know they do for a real estate transaction, how do they find you, Andy?
I'm usually up here about 3:50 every Friday morning. No, I mean, that's actually the truth. I get here like at 3:15 every Friday, but no, probably the best. I'm not going to send them to a website or anything like that. My phone number is the easiest, and that's area code 806-241-2093.
And if you're watching live, guys, you saw that go across the lower thirds. And if you're looking for real estate in Lubbock or anywhere in West Texas, call Andy. He has a great story. He's a family man, and he can find you a great house or investment property or commercial building. Well, I'm David Wynn. I'm with the Mortgage Edge podcast. Thanks for being with us today. Happy Valentine's Day, guys. Bye now.